and I want everybody to understand that if we do not make changes and fight back effectively, you're going to see 15 million Americans lose their health insurance through the cuts in Medicaid and the ACA. According to studies, 50,000 Americans die each year. That's what's at stake. People all over this country, you're already paying the highest prices in the world for health care. Guess what? 24 million Americans are going to see a doubling, a doubling in their health care premiums.
And we're going to get back to the number one news story. The American government is shut down. Ladies and gentlemen, the American government is shut down, and seemingly there is no compromise. Okay? All right, government shutdown. Hold on. I got to go deal with the Uber delivery real quick.
Now, Washington, President Trump is raising the stakes for the government shutdown, threatening mass firings possibly beginning today. Nancy Cordes is at the White House. Nancy, good morning. So what exactly is the president saying?
Well, Vlad, typically shutdowns don't lead to layoffs, but President Trump is saying that this situation gives him an unprecedented opportunity to slash government agencies, especially the ones that Democrats care about the most. White House officials tell us the first wave of layoffs could be announced today. Every passing day, more closed signs are going up at monuments and museums and parks across the country as massive job cuts loom. On Thursday, President Trump met with Russ Vought, the administration's budget chief, so Vought could tell him which agencies he recommends to be cut and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. The White House press secretary said the jobs that don't align with the president's agenda will be the first to go.
It's likely going to be in the thousands.
The Treasury Secretary warned Thursday that if the shutdown is prolonged, economic growth could take a hit. The last shutdown that began in 2018 ended 35 days later in 2019 and cost the U.S. economy $11 billion, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Anthony Lee works at the Food and Drug Administration and estimates that 90% of his fellow food safety experts have been told, like him, to stay home.
Each day, something could happen in terms of a foodborne illness or a food safety outbreak or an allergen contaminant. And being able to, part of FDA's job is to get information, disseminate information out quickly to the public.
There is a bill to fund the government, but Democrats are holding out. They want an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies and a rollback of cuts to Medicaid.
We're ready to have that conversation, but we need credible partners on the other side of the aisle.
Republicans say that conversation can wait.
I'm stunned that they have decided to shut the government down and hurt people.
Republicans continue to claim that Democrats want to expand health care coverage for undocumented immigrants, a charge Democrats say is false.
What's to stop you from negotiating over other provisions where there may be some common ground? We haven't wanted to negotiate. We just want to keep the government open.
The messaging war, and it is fierce, has now spread even to out-of-office emails. Furloughed workers at the Department of Education told CBS News that the automated out-of-office messages that they have set up were changed to include partisan talking points blaming Democrats for the shutdown. Tony.
Nancy, thank you very much.
It's day 3 of the government shutdown, with neither side willing to compromise on a spending plan. The Trump administration now turning to unprecedented tactics, hoping to get Democrats to give in.
I'm allowed to cut things that should have never been approved in the first place, and I will probably do that.
President Trump saying he's meeting with top budget official Russ Vought of Project 2025 fame to determine which of the many Democrat agencies he recommends to be cut. Trump calling this an unprecedented opportunity to shrink the federal bureaucracy, cutting programs that don't align with his agenda. Democrats claim Trump would have made the cuts even without a shutdown.
The Trump administration has been firing thousands of federal employees outside of the context of a government shutdown since January 20th.
Democrats say they'll only support a government spending plan that reverses cuts to Medicaid and extends Obamacare subsidies to prevent health insurance premiums from rising. A new poll shows a majority of Americans blame Republicans for the shutdown. The White House aiming to convince Americans otherwise. running shutdown clock on its website with the caption, "Democrats have shut down the government." And employees of at least one federal agency say their out-of-office emails were changed without their approval to include a message blaming Democrats. Some ethics experts say those tactics could violate a federal law that bars federal resources from being used for politics. Meanwhile, as the administration targets Democrats, it's also considering a massive bailout of up to $14 billion for farmers hit hard by the shutdown, which has...
I ordered a bunch of fucking food and I had to... Sorry, I have to pee still.
Closed farm loan offices.
More Americans blame Trump and the GOP for shut down the Democrats' polls. As I told you, hold on, I'm going to be back in a second.
Just as tariffs take a major toll on soybean farmers. It's not just farmers struggling. The monthly jobs report, set to be released today, has been delayed due to the shutdown. But a new report from Goldman Sachs gives a grim economic outlook for many Americans. It finds 42% of younger working Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck, and 74% are struggling to save for retirement.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says a vote today on ending the shutdown is likely to fail, and no further action is expected until Monday.
I don't think these guys understand that they're playing too much, okay? I don't think they are aware of how much they're playing and how fucking annoying this shit is to the average person. They keep joking around about like the shutdown at a time when there are a lot of very frustrated people. They're operating like they got Obama numbers on the economy. And even then it wasn't so sweet. Shit wasn't so sweet back then either. Okay? So these kinds of memes, they're fine if you don't have discontent. These kinds of memes would go hard, I guess, if your base was like not experiencing unprecedented economic anxieties. Okay? You do not have the popular mandate that you think you have to be playing around like this. And I don't think they realize that. Wait, is this video supposed to be pro-Trump? Yes. Am I seeing this wrong? Donald Trump stars in Grim Reaper themed AI music video. Like they're saying like he's the Reaper and it's a good thing. Like they're saying Trump posted this. Like they're implying that Russ Vought is the Reaper and he's going to cut all these expenditures. He's going to cut all of these federal programs, and that's like a good thing. And what's really interesting about this is it's not a pro-Trump thing. They want a small government. Nah. If that was the case, Donald Trump would not have personally tried to distance himself from Project 2025 during the election. You are wrong. If you think that people are going to fuck with this, if you think that the audience is going to fuck with this, especially when they already aren't too happy about the way things are going, like their pockets are still hurting, you're wrong. And regardless of how long you think you're going to stay in power, and it's very obvious that these guys are basically posting like there's not going to be another election ever again, right? Like it's clear to me that they're out here posting like, you know, there's no tomorrow. There's no elections coming up. Who gives a shit? But even then, you need to have either strong enough loyalty or a base of support that can hold things together. And the more you fucking lose that, the more you're cooked. The more, the harder it's going to be for you to maintain your grip of power. I got some soggy ass fries and doner kebab, and it's not very good.
Senator, you've served in Congress and then the Senate, and you've served through a number of different administrations with different presidents. And I've covered a number of shutdowns.
I just don't know what the fuck they're thinking, bro. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking behaving like this. And there's a reason why even the Republicans or just like the majority of the population hold Donald Trump responsible and the Republican Party responsible for this fucking shutdown, man. These guys are a lot weaker than they present themselves. I don't know where they're getting this confidence from, but they are not strong. They are very, very weak. I see everything that they're doing here as like, let them eat cake posting. You know what I mean?
Seen a president during a shutdown kind of gloating about the ability to punish people or to take stuff away from people in states that didn't vote for him. Have you seen that before?
No, of course we haven't. You know, Chris, we are living in an unprecedentedly dangerous moment, maybe the worst crisis in America literally since the Civil War. You have a president who is acting unconstitutionally and illegally. Guess what? These projects have been appropriated.
Yes.
They were signed by a president. It is illegal to rescind them. And then basically to say to people in Vermont, in New York, in California, oh, you didn't vote for Donald Trump? Well, we're going to take away funding that was supposed to go to your state. Illegal, outrageous, unconstitutional.
Yes, let me just follow up on that. I'm glad you made this point. Two things about that. One is, it's just so obviously preposterous that if you think of the Constitution and the power of the purse, right? The article.
That's it. That's what that's the remaining power of the Constitution right now. Like, as it stands, nobody really fucks with the legislative body. It's been effectively neutered. Whatever, right? But the one thing that it does do still is this. It's allocation of resources. That is the only thing that Congress still has the power of the purse, the budget. And when Donald Trump takes that away as well, I don't think Republicans are going to be fond of that either.
Well, Congress has the power of the purse. That in a situation in which Congress fails to give money to the federal government, that somehow the executive gets more powerful? Like, that can't possibly be the case. That seems backward. And the second thing is you represent Republicans in Vermont, and I would say of all the politicians I've interviewed in my life, the vast majority, Democrat, Republican, Independent, genuinely care about all their constituents. Genuinely want to see them thrive. It is so weird to approach it this way.
Well, you got a president who was acting in an unprecedented way, who is a megalomaniac, who wants more and more power for himself and his oligarchic friends. And I want everybody to understand that, at least for me, and I think for many others in the Congress, one of the key aspects of this whole shutdown debate is that what Senate rules are about is Republicans need 60 votes. That's been going on for decades. And when you need 60 votes, the point of that is bipartisanship, negotiation. All right, you need 8 Democratic votes. Okay, how do we work together to keep the government open? Republicans, for the first time in modern history, have chosen not to negotiate. They are saying it is their way or the highway.
Right.
And that is not acceptable. And I want everybody to understand that if we do not make changes and fight back effectively, you're going to see 15 million Americans lose their health insurance through the cuts in Medicaid and the ACA. According to studies, 50,000 Americans die each year. That's what's at stake. People all over this country are already paying the highest prices in the world for health care. Guess what? 24 million Americans are going to see a doubling, a doubling in their health care premiums. I cannot allow that to happen to Vermont or to this country. I ain't going to vote for that proposal.
So just to be clear here, because I had AOC on the other night, you guys did that video together. I mean, the big sort of negotiating point Democrats are saying is, look, these subsidies are about to run out. People's premiums are going to spike. It's going to be a disaster. Let's come to some agreement on extending them, and we'll vote them and do a bipartisan negotiation. Like, that remains the demand, right? Let's come to an agreement on this.
Yeah. The demand is that we don't double premiums for 24 million Americans. That's the Kaiser Family Foundation study just came out the other day. And throw 15 million people off health insurance. Let me say it again, Chris. You know, the media, we get, Democrats, Republicans, everyone's attacking themselves. The studies suggest 50,000 Americans will die unnecessarily if we don't stop this.
So Vance basically, I mean, my understanding of their position is, we don't need you, screw you, we don't want to do this, we're also happy to do it. Are there conversations happening? There was this sort of big gaggle on the floor yesterday among senators. I mean, I know the House Freedom Caucus doesn't like this. Republicans hate the ACA. Steve Daines was on the record saying, I don't like these subsidies to keep premiums down. But it seems like you can maybe find enough votes to do it, maybe?
Our job is to make it very difficult for Republicans to go back to their districts and explain to their constituents why their premiums, which are today unaffordable, are going to double. And let me be very clear. I am not a great fan of the Affordable Care Act. I believe in Medicare for all. I think that health care is a human right. But I will be damned if I'm going to see people in Vermont and around this country see a doubling in their premiums when people today can't afford housing, they can't afford health care, they can't afford child care. We can't allow that to happen.
The cost of things has been such a front of mind issue in every poll we've seen now for the last 3 or 4 years, I would say. The president ran on a promise to reduce prices on day one. He said they were going to go down. Not just they weren't going to get higher slower, they're going to go down. It just seems like that has not happened. And do you feel like when you talk to the people you represent in your state, they feel like it doesn't happen? Like,
absolutely.
Is that the number one thing you hear from people still here in 2025?
Like the issue of affordability. People are going to the grocery store. They want decent quality food for their kids. They can't afford it. I will tell you that in Vermont and in many parts of this country, the cost of housing is now insane. It's off the charts. You got 20 million households spending 50% of their income or more in housing. You want to send your kid to college? Good luck.
Yeah. I guess the question is, they think eventually the pain will be too much for Senate Democrats to bear, and 8 or so people will come together and vote to reopen the government, because while those insurance premiums doubling is a huge problem, there's going to be real pain from the shutdown, and they seem to be relishing it. And the kind of bet here is you guys care more about that pain than we do. What do you think of that?
Well, I will tell you, Chris.
I think this is yet another opportunity for the Democrats to basically stress the division between the corporate-backed elite and the regular people at home. Okay? Drive a wedge between the base of the party and the actual party itself. Because if you can't do it here, in this moment of unprecedented economic uncertainty, where these guys are basically behaving like fucking clowns, as though everything is awesome right now, if you can't even do it here, you can never do it. Just like if you couldn't talk about how austerity sucks when they were doing the Doge cuts, you were giving up on a major opportunity. This is yet another major opportunity to say, look, man, you might not like us. You might think we're too busy doing woke stuff, doing transgender, everybody computer, everybody transgender. But we're actually doing this for you. We're doing this so that the people that you voted for don't selfishly destroy your health care. They do all think everything is awesome right now? No, they don't. You think Republicans think everything is awesome right now? What have I told you? There is one thing that you can't wish cast away, and that is people's pockets hurting. You're so wrong. Think about the farmers. Think about the farmers that need yet another bailout. Many of those hogs voted for Trump, and then Trump fucked them again.
I am a politician. If I'm a Republican, man, I do not want to go home to my district and explain to people why I am allowing huge numbers of people in their own congressional districts, in their states, to lose their health care. How do you survive if you don't have any health care? And to see premiums double. So yes, you're right. Nobody, sane person, wants to see a shutdown. The shutdown is hurting federal employees, people all over the country. That is true. But I will tell you, if I'm a Republican, and you notice they don't talk about this issue. What they say is, oh, it is only the undocumented workers.
Yeah, right,
Obviously, a total lie. Undocumented people are ineligible for Medicaid, Medicare, the Affordable Care Act. So they lie. But I think that lie tells you what they don't want to deal with. They don't want to go home and explain to their constituents why premiums are doubling.
And here we go, day 3 of the government shutdown.
I can't stand these motherfuckers not only lying, but then also claiming the opposition is lying. What they're saying is simply untrue. Anyway, here's some new, fresh Harry Anton. Some of the GOP are walking around like they're cock of the walk with the shutdown, but polls are on the Dem side. Voters blame the GOP more for the shutdown by an average of 12 points. Also, history says the side blamed at the start of the shutdowns is who voters blame by the end. The reason why people are blaming the Republicans is because they're in charge. They're in charge. And instead of this being the one unique opportunity for the Republican Party to be like, oh shit, we have to actually take this kind of seriously, they're behaving in the exact same ways that they have been behaving, which is not taking this shit seriously at all and posting fucking memes. And obviously, when you do that, even the dumbest hogs are gonna be like, wait a minute, dude, but like you're not doing anything to fix the shutdown. You're just like that's your goal. That's the best thing you got is just to keep calling Hakeem Jeffries a Mexican. Maybe it banged the first time, but how many more times can he just keep getting away with calling Hakeem Jeffries a Mexican?